Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How y'all doing this morning? Hope y'all doing well. Not quite sure if you can hear me or not, but if you can, give me a thumbs up. If you can hear and you can see me, give me a thumbs up. Good morning, my Renaissance grandmama. Good morning, Shy. Psalms 146, Home and Garden. Good morning. How you doing? How are y'all doing? Miss Gigi Naturals Homestead. How you doing? Welcome on back to the fold, me, Miss Gigi. Welcome on back. Hope y'all doing well today. You can see me. Can you hear me at all? Can you hear me? Thumbs up. You can. You can see and hear. That's perfect. I'm hoping you can see and hear. Uh, so today we got a little bit unique situation going on. We got a special guest, and I'm going to introduce our special guest a little bit later. It won't be long. Won't keep you holding. Won't keep you waiting too long because our special guest is a definitely special guest, and it's going to be a treat, and it's going to be a spin. As we grow our Eco Nation News, we're going to expand a little bit. We're going to expand our horizon. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to uh, motivate each other, inspire each other, and we're going to continue to just to learn a little bit more about life. So we got a lot of stuff going on in the news today. We're going to start off with welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time watching Eco Nation News, I want to welcome you in and understand we come on Sundays and we come Sunday AM. Shy, we try to come consistent, but sometimes it doesn't work out. And just to be full transparency, it's not intentional. Uh, I live somewhat on a border of Central Time and Eastern Time, and I cross those time zones quite often, quite frequently. And when I'm doing that, sometimes my phone and my technology do not switch over. So I apologize. Sometimes it seems like I'm here later, or it seems like I'm here earlier. And sometimes it can be very confusing. I'm thinking it's 9:45 my time, and it'd be 10:45 or vice versa. So I do apologize, but I'm trying to get consistent. I'm trying to make sure that we are consistent with that. But welcome to Eco Nation News. This is news that you may or may not be able to use. Give a thumbs up if you can hear me. If you can see me very clearly, that's a great thing. Oh, McMoney, how you doing? Family man, what's up? Bless up, bless up. Is that's my friend? Yes, it's my friend. Be rich. Thank you, be rich. Thank you. Let me tell y'all, when y'all do this, I really appreciate it because you all are helping Eco Nation. You're helping this whole movement. You inspire me. You motivate me. Not only that, I'm putting it towards the betterment of the channel. I'm putting it towards the betterment and providing information to you. The more time and the more resources I have, the better I can give you more and more content. Your first time, welcome in. This is quite unique. What we do, we kind of go over the news on the homestead. So just to kind of give you a background, uh, me and Gigi in the chat. Gigi is my beautiful wife. And what we did, we looked at each other back during that period of time of 2020. We were growing out our backyards like crazy, like crazy. We just started being able to eat and be able to self-sustain ourselves. We lived in the city, in the heart of the city. We lived like less than 1 mile from Walmart, Costco, the movie theater, all of it, everything you can think of. And we lived in Tallahassee, Florida. We were on the grid. We were utilizing everything. Then we start noticing that we can grow our own food. We can kind of self-sustain. We did raised beds. We turned our whole backyard into a food forest, right? We were growing fruits, vegetables, herbs, tinctures. We were making tinctures. We were canning stuff. We went crazy. And then we both said, hey, we want to get outside the city. We want to get outside and see some things. And we want some land. We want to expand ourselves. And then we want to see if we can grow and have that sense of connection with nature. I always love nature. I always love going out, doing hikes, doing bike cycling, doing nature trails, all of that stuff. So we always enjoyed nature, but we wanted to be a little bit closer to nature. So what we did, we took some time and we went outside of town and we looked for some property and we put in an offer for the property and we took everybody along. You can go back and look at some of the videos. You can see the journey. We documented all these pieces of the journey, right? And through this process, the deal fell through on the property. We knew we had the property. We had a dual closing where we were closing on our homes that sold, and then we were closing on the property at the same time. And guess what? we couldn't get a clear title. This particular owner had passed. He didn't leave a will. Then his wife passed shortly after he did. His kids were left in charge of the land. Come to find out, they couldn't agree. Come to find out, because he didn't have a will, they had to go through probate. Going through probate, they went through and concluded with the probate. Then an attorney had to distribute all of his possessions. Imagine working all your life. Imagine doing everything you could possibly do. And this is going to tie into our subject, trust me, on the business side, because I know sometimes you're like a LLC, homestead, and what did I got to do with it? You're going to notice that every facet of life, when you're off grid, or if you think about purchasing land, you think about doing things, everything matters, right? Everything has to be calculated, have to be strategic, and you have to be business savvy. You have to know the environment, know the weather. You got to know a lot of different stuff. And we're going to cover some of those pieces and some of those aspects of land ownership. But continue with the story. The attorney was in charge of distributing everything. So he liquidated everything. He had multiple properties, and one of these properties we put in the offer for it. We thought we would get a good, clear title. We thought we'll have everything good. We thought that everything will be solid. Guess what happened? I didn't get a clear title. So to find out that the deceased wife, had some other kids prior to the marriage. They had rights to that land, right? So guess what? We couldn't get a clear title. We didn't have no place to go. We had over almost 2,300 plus square foot house, upstairs, downstairs, garage. I had a business. I had the boom room full of stuff. We had so much stuff. We had tons of stuff and no place to put it. So we struggled. We got a hotel, did this, and we came up with a strategy. Say, hey, I'm getting a truck. I'm getting an RV. Let's get a truck. Let's get an RV. We got the truck and the RV. And during that time, this was around 2022, the real estate market was through the roof, and Florida was so through the roof. Every week we would put in 1 or 2 offers trying to obtain some land because we wanted some stabilization. We were saying we just need a house. We need something. We had almost given up on the dream of obtaining land. So we were putting in offers 1 and 2 times a week. We was getting outbidded. We'll put in $35,000, $40,000 over asking price, and we would still get beat out tens of thousands of dollars. And we could not keep up with anything. And lo and behold, God answered prayers. And matter of fact, if you're here this week, this is a brand new week, y'all. We starting a brand new week. Put T's in the chat. Put T's in the chat. The T's mean I'm thankful. Thankful, 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 thankful. Put all T's in the chat. That means you're thankful to be here. This is a brand new week. We are able to start this week off. We're able to be here. We're able to be here and survive. So here it was where God blessed us. One of the times before we sold our property, I skipped the situation. We had our home. We wanted to move out. Our first deal on our first property prior to that property was 28 acres. 28 acres, we put in an offer for that, but we put contingency that we can sell our home and then buy the property. Guess what? That didn't work. We lost thousands of dollars. It fell through. The deal fell through. The guy was a professional. He knew what to do. He knew how to put everything together. And just before we got ready to sell the property, we got an offer just like that on our property every single time. But the individual, he did not get his finances in order. So that first deal fell through. But the same realtor that helped us with that 28 acres that fell through, he called us and said, hey, I got some property for you. I got 20 acres. It's nestled in the heart of the North Panhandle of Florida. It is zone agriculture. It's a timberland. It is all wooded. Would you be interested? He said, I know it's not exactly what you wanted. I know it's not as close to Tallahassee as you wanted, but just take a look at it. And guess what? It's owned by a company. And this deal, before I put it on here, I'm telling you now, someone has already called about it. They put in an offer and it was rejected. They asking for full asking price, no exceptions. And he says, when I put it on this market at this price, it will sell fast. So before I put it out there, do you want it? You want to take a look at it? I said, we'll be over there. We'll take a look at it. We went over there. We took a look at it. We saw some of the natural, beautiful hardwoods, and we saw the pines, the planted pines, and then we saw oak trees, we saw cedar trees, we saw a lot of different stuff, and the land was so beautiful around us. We said, let's do it, let's do it. So we did it, and now we are here on this 20-acre property. We started out with nothing. We didn't even have a path, didn't have a driveway. And if you go back, you look at the channel, you'll see the progression, you'll see everything going on where we are today. And right now, here we are. So that in a nutshell is where we are. And now I'm going to welcome you into Eco Nation News. Let me go in the chat. Gina versus Gina, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. I see T's in the chat. That means you're thankful. Season of Tree. That means you're thankful. Educated Naturals. Hey, welcome on in. That means you're thankful. Oh my goodness, we thankful today. I'm so glad we thankful because I'm telling you, if you focus on the things that don't go right, you focus on the things that go awry, guess what's going to happen? You're going to miss the blessings on the other side. We got to push through, people. We got to understand that we go through things, and we could have given up a long time ago. We'll probably be, if we had given up, we would have never sold our home, would have never made it to this 20 acres. We would have never be free and clear of debt from our land. We would have never owned a well, septic tank, never had a cottage, never had all these possibilities, never enjoyed the beauty of waking up in the morning, listening to the birds. We would have given up. Imagine that first time, that first 28 acres, and we lost several of thousands of dollars because they had contingency in us selling that property. And as we kept stretching it and stretching it, it was costing us thousands, and we had to cut the ribbon and let go, right? And take the loss. This wasn't the first time. We've done it before in the past. But guess what? That same house, that 2,300 square foot house that we got in a beautiful neighborhood that earned equity over those years, prior to that, we had a deal that we walked away and we lost money from that. Because if it's not right, people, if you're going in a direction and you've already invested and you don't feel like it's going right, you don't feel like it's going the best way, be prepared to walk away. I'd rather walk away from several thousand than 30 years or 15 or 20 years worth of regret. You don't want to live like that. The same thing goes with life. As we navigate through life, whether it's your job, your relationship, your careers, your business aspect, think it through. If you're going and you're not satisfied with the direction you're going, and you already have that vision, you know where you want to go, don't lose the vision, but sometimes you might have to pivot in life. So I'm hoping that y'all are thankful today. I see Gigi thankful. All right, let's see. Okay. The Crafted Mind, good morning, good morning. Indiana Jackson 762, good morning to you. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. I see the T's are in there. The T's mean you're thankful that you're here. It means that you're thankful and that you got another day, you got another week. That means you got another opportunity. Not a lot of us had it. So what's going on Eco Nation News? We're going to start out with the weather. Right now, it is raining. It's going to be raining pretty much all day. It started out early this morning, and I am inside. You know, if it wasn't raining, I would be on the outside. But we are here, and it's going to be a wet, dreary day. But I'm thankful for this day because I've fertilized my fruit trees. I have fertilized some of my vegetables. I got a predator out there eating my collards. And I don't know, I'm going to probably be forced to do some kind of raised bedding close to the RV to keep everything away because nothing comes in near the RV. But in my field, they having a field day with my start. So my starts, just about all my starts have been chomp, chomp, chomp. And I just hate that. But we living and we learning. That's the beautiful thing about it. I've been growing since I was a kid, since I was young, right? My great-great-grandmother taught me first started. My great-grandmother taught me. And then my grandmother, she used to manage and own a fruit and vegetable stand, and she sold fish and eggs. So I've been around the agriculture belt for quite some time, from my youth all the way up. And I'm going to tell you, you can go and you can switch you can buy a house and go to the other side of town, and the soil, the moisture, the sun, everything could be totally different. And it's like starting from the very beginning, and just own up to it. Try things, try to plant in different places. If you just imagine you want to grow something, you want to be successful at it. What we did to learn our yard, we grew the same thing in different places in our backyard. One corner was more shaded, one was a little bit more sun, One seemed to hold a little bit more moisture, and one of it seemed to be a little bit more drier. And we would plant the same things in different areas of the yard. And guess what? We learned where we were successful. But this stuff takes time. It takes seasons. It takes, was it wintertime? Was it springtime? So imagine seasons and different placements as you grow different things. We're talking about years and years of learning and building on that. So be patient. Remember, life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. All things worth learning and quality, it's a marathon. Take your time and enjoy the process. Enjoy those every time when you feel like things don't go your way, just know you're getting closer to get things going your way. Because if it's not working over here, you know to go ahead and take it and put it over here. And guess what happens? Next thing you know, you're successful over here and things blend out. Another thing that's happening on Eco Nation is Sean and the Chickets have been getting out. We have had some compromise issues with the chicken house. I'm going to have to really take my time and invest and put in to fortifying the chicken coop as well as the pen and expanding the pen. I've been trying to gather soil from the chicken coop. These particular chicken, along with the topography of this, I got sandy soil, dry soil. It absorbs moisture just like that. And so I don't have a lot of layers like I thought I would with soil content with my chickens. So with that said, I'm going to have to probably pack it worth a lot of mulch over the period of time. And I'm probably going to have to put like cross ties and other things to block the moisture from rinsing it completely out. So y'all stay tuned. We're going to go through that whole process. Sean is my rooster and the chickens are the rest of my chickens. So just for y'all newcomers, y'all understand who Sean is. Now for Shaka and Musa are my mixed breed German Shepherd and Belgian Minois. They are highly energetic. I do not recommend them for a house dog. I do not recommend them for even probably a neighborhood. These dogs are off the chain unless you got a lot of energy and you got a lot of time. I probably wouldn't recommend them for kids either. I mean, maybe a blending of, I grew up around a German Shepherd. My great grandmother had several German Shepherds. One did get me one time and the other ones was like a companion. Man, they were great. And dogs are just like people. They got all different demeanors. They got all different backgrounds and where they come from and their experiences. So just be cautious if you're thinking about, you see these dogs, you love these dogs, understand this energy is real. They climb fences, they go foresting, they hunt, they bring back game, they full of energy and it's nonstop. So they've been doing good. They've been growing. I think they're getting somewhat about from their height. They shouldn't be tall dogs because the Belgian Minois should kick in. And so we won't have no great massive dogs, but they're going to be dogs full of muscle and full of energy. And their intelligence is through this roof. The way they communicate, the way they interact is through this roof. And they are people-pleasing dogs. They love to please, and they are protectors. They're going to constantly come back and check on you. So for a homestead, you got some land, you got some areas, you want to keep some stuff away from you, I highly recommend them. You're looking for protection, you're looking for dogs that are very intelligent, you definitely probably want to get two. The reason why I say you want to get two, so they can help entertain each other, because it's too much energy, y'all. It's way too much energy. Veggie Farm, how you doing? So now we're going to the portion where we're going to talk a little bit about business. And as we talk a little bit about business, as far as homesteading, off-grid living, going after your dreams, and doing what you're doing, we're going to have an intimate conversation with a good acquaintance of mine. She is a YouTube content creator. And if y'all can put it in the chat to please include her as her channel, put a link in her channel, and we're going to invite the one, the only Miss The Educated Natural. All right, hold on for 1 second. Let me see if I can get it in here. All right. Invite. Gotcha. Add. And let's try this. Let's see if we can.
Hey,
Hey, there it is.
hey, good morning.
I was shaking. I didn't know whether I could bring you in or not. You
You
know what I'm
did great.
saying?
Good
Hey,
morning, everyone.
first of all, I want to say to you, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And one
Absolutely.
thing that I could just go on and chomp out the bit about how amazing you are. But what I want you to do, and I don't want you to hold back now. What I need you to do is I want you to tell us, first of all, tell us a little bit about you, and then also tell us a little bit about your channel, and what is your goal for your channel, and what are your aspirations to actually get the word out to other people, because you do a fantastic job at that. And that's the reason why I was definitely convicted to definitely bring you on, because I really feel like more and more people need to listen to your content. So if you can, please introduce yourself and then tell a little bit about your channel.
Great. Thank you, first of all, for having me, EcoFam. Thank you. Hey, Gigi. Thank you for having me here. I am the Educated Natural. I'm all about business. And my channel is all about business. Now, at first, my channel, I had three pillars to my channel. It was about business, it was about motivation, and it was about your spiritual walk with God. And every now and then, I would throw a little crafting in there. But over the years, I've learned as I've grown and met so many people across the world that a lot of people wanted to know more so about two of the pillars. And one of the main pillars is one of the pillars we're talking about today, which has to do with business. And unlike a lot of people, I went to school for business. I have several degrees in business. I've talked with a lot of business professionals, as well as had the opportunity to serve this country in the military. So I've had the opportunity to live across the world and learn different
Wow.
languages as well. And just meet people from different backgrounds, of different religious backgrounds, colors, and creeds. And it has allowed me to become this world renowned name brand that now people, even my own family, sometimes forget what my real name is, and they'll call me 10, or they'll call me the Educated Natural. Like, that's how far this thing has grown. And the focus of my channel is just to teach those, either you're an aspiring business owner, meaning you're thinking about becoming a business owner, small business owner, a large corporation, or you're seasoned. You've been doing this thing for a while, but maybe you have hit a roadblock at some point, or technology has sent you spinning on your heels, and you're kind of like lost as to how to use it and how to apply it in your growth in your business today. I come in to lay everything out on the table. I don't hold anything back. We sit down and we look at your business from top to bottom, the good, the bad, the oh Lord help me moments. And I help you look at those things. And for a lot of people, it gets kind of scary, but you have to look at every aspect of your business if you plan on having that business last. Because as we all know, businesses close every day. Ideas shift every day. We pivot as humans every day. And so what I try to do is to help that business owner stay focused, stay abreast to the trends that's out there, the changes, and never be so flat-footed in your business that you get to a point where you can't be told anything or you can't learn anything new. I kind of come in there, just as my name suggests, as the Educated Natural, to give you that educational leg to help you stand a little stronger in your business. So that's my focus, Eco.
Man. So one of the things that, just to kind of give you a little bit background on my other side of my life, is that I've been an entrepreneur for, I don't know for how long, probably. I've been an official entrepreneur in my early 20s. Of course, I always kind of did the entrepreneur piece, but I also maintained jobs on a professional career. Every job I had multiple pieces of jobs. But one of the things, my last capacity was working with the state of Florida. And what I did vendor relations coordination. And I also did, I was like the executive director for the Office of Supply Diversity, right? And what I did, I worked with small businesses throughout the state of Florida, as well as throughout the country. And I engaged with those businesses, and I did coaching and some consulting pieces to how do you work with state government? How do you get into government contracts? First of all, some of the basics were, are you set up? Are you truly registered as a business with the state of Florida? Or do you have an LLC? Do you have an S Corp or C Corp? Do you even know what it is? What kind of resources out there? And so your services are needed in so many facets and so many capacities. It's just like, I know how to do landscape, or I know how to do plumbing. I know how to do hair, or I know how to provide certain goods or certain services. But business aspect, a lot of people are lacking to understand the structure, the fundamental structures on organizing and setting up your business, because it starts off with getting your business registered, getting your business organized, because you got to think about your federal ID number. You got to think about your accounts. You got to think about your banking, it tying everything in. You got to also be able to be invoiced. It's a lot of different things. If you don't have that fundamental structure, you're limiting your abilities for growth for your business. A lot of big, large, or even small organized businesses will not do business with you if you don't have those basics set up. And it makes it very difficult for you to enter into that RAM and to transition your business if you don't have those fundamental pieces set up. So if you can, share with me, I am a new business owner, or I'm thinking about owning a business, right? And I don't know where to start. What are some of the things that you would probably recommend for starting your own business or trying to get things put in place?
Well, the first thing, Eco, I would say, if you're thinking about starting a business, it starts based on my experience with research. A lot of people like to run directly to social media and listen to the loudest talking individual and follow what they say and end up in a world of trouble with our
Bad, bad.
lovely government.
Yeah.
And I would tell people it starts with research. And if you're a believer, it starts with prayer. And you have to go to the internet and not just one search engine, search them all.
Mhm.
And start with research. It starts with deciding within yourself what type of business you want to start. Because you may want to do t-shirts today. Next week, you may want to start a car detailing shop. Next month, you might want to, you have to narrow these things down.
Yeah.
We are multifaceted individuals, and sometimes we up here will have us doing all kinds of stuff. Trust me, I know. And you have to decide what type of business you truly want to start. And that's when social media really plays a huge part in that, because your audience will tell you what they're willing to buy and what they're willing to not buy.
True.
So there's nothing more hurting than going out buying all these products for a business you think you want to start, and you get crickets on the other side of it. Nobody's buying anything. So it kind of comes down to your research. And I always tell people, one of the pinnacle parts of starting any business is when you're building and you've done your research and you've cleared a lot of the major hurdles that have gotten a lot of people in trouble. And I'm sure we'll get into that later on. But when you're doing your research, you're going to have to determine what's called a SWOT analysis. You're going to have to sit down and put, like I said, everybody wants to be a CEO until you have to do what CEOs do. And one of those pinnacle pieces I've learned that people forget to do is called a SWOT analysis. And that's SWOT. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. All of these things are going to come into play when you're forming a business. You got to know.
Hold on for 1 minute. Hold on for 1 minute. You kind of went through that SWOT real fast, okay?
Okay.
So let's go through and break that down just for a little bit. I hope you got just a little time for me.
Absolutely.
And so as we break down that thing, when you think about strength, where does the strength come from? How do you recognize strength?
Strengths come from the things that you instantly can do, and you will get a immediate reaction from your audience on. There are some people that I will say that can sell ice to an Eskimo. These are your strengths. Like, you have the gift of gab. You're able to go in there. Some people are strong sellers. They're able to sell. Some people are strong marketers. They're able to market. No matter, you put them anywhere, they're going to sell something because they know how to market. So you have to sit down and determine what's your strong suit. What is something you are strong at? with beyond a shadow of a doubt, you got this thing. You can do it with your eyes closed. It's something that it's like the skin on your bones. It's
Mhm.
you. It's your strongest thing that you're able to do in the business realm, because that's something I've had to lean on more times than I can count, was my strengths.
Mm.
And once you identify what those strengths are, now you can't compare this to me, you can't compare this to Eco or anybody else in the chat. We're all different. God has given us all
Yes, we are.
different gifts and talents.
Yes,
What
we
is
are.
your strength?
Yes. And one thing, some people say, well, I don't know my strength.
Uh-oh, I lost you.
Am I here?
Yeah, there you back.
Okay, I apologize. But one of the things that if you don't know your strength, what do people come to you for other than gossip? What do people come to you for? What when you interact and when you're with whether family members or even strangers, if you notice stranger approach you or even your coworkers or different things like that, pay attention to why they come to you and what they come to you for.
Right.
Those are some of your strengths. Those are some of your indicators. Now, as we talk about the weaknesses, what weaknesses should we look for?
Those things you struggle with.
Hmm.
A lot of people enter into business and think, oh, I'll just file some paperwork. I got an LLC or whatever, and think, okay, well, I have 50,000 YouTube subscribers, and that makes me, a great this or a great that. But when you realize, when you get into business, your weaknesses will probably punch you like in your throat. They will be the things that come out of left field that you don't
Yeah.
see coming. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I made a post on, let's say, Instagram, and I'm good at Instagram. Just because you make a post does not make you a good marketer. So marketing could be your weakness.
Mm.
So
Mm.
a lot of people think because they have these numbers that's supposed to indicate to them how great they are or how much clout they have, it could actually not tell you a single thing. A lot of people here on YouTube will tell you, watch your analytics. Your analytics will tell you a lot. They will tell you, yeah, you thought that video that you released was going to just knock it out the park, and you spent all this time making this video, but the analytic has told you that that's a weakness.
Yeah.
Your editing may be a weakness. The sound of your voice could even be a weakness for some people. So you have to just get real with this thing. What are my weaknesses? What's hurting me?
And when you find your weaknesses, that does not mean you discard or you stop doing what you're doing. That's actually, it's a benefit. It's an added value to know your weaknesses. Most successful CEOs or successful people, they bring people on their team or surround themselves by people who have the strength where they're weak at.
Right.
And imagine this. Most high-level executive people that run these corporations, they don't know anything about the widgets that these companies sell. They don't know a lot about this or that, but they know how to run business. They know how to organize. They know how to they know how to find those weaknesses.
Right.
And then they know how to find resources to improve those weaknesses, even if they can't come up with a solution. So thank you so much for that. Now, opportunities. Are there a lot of opportunities in life, or what do you mean by opportunities?
When I think of opportunities, I think about those actual aspects out there, or openings or gaps. We like to call them gaps, where you have the opportunity to capitalize on it. So let's say, since we're here on YouTube, let's say you're doing your research, you want to cover a particular topic. You'll look for the gaps that have not been talked about out there in that field. That's where you come in with your expertise and you fill that gap. That's an opportunity for you to get in there and show people exactly what you're working with. It's like a gap. You're like that gap filler. So you have to go through the market or whatever industry you are in, and you have to figure out, where are the opportunities for me to show up and show out, to show people how strong a leader I am, to show people what I bring to the table. These are the areas of opportunity for you.
So this is where Virgos have this great strengths. We can find issues and problems. We can see them a mile away. So I did that for Gigi and for Shy, my bad. But nevertheless, now we already know, some people call it hate, some people call it misfortune, some people call it you just don't want to see me rise, you don't want to see me grow,
right.
all of this stuff. So what are some threats that business owners or people that's looking to go into business? What are some threats that they face?
Some threats, believe it or not, could be you.
Mm.
You could be a threat to your own business. And let me explain that. A lot of people fail to realize that if we don't get out of our own head and out of our own way and out of what the market is telling us is way, that we could be hurting our own selves. Our pride could be a threat. Because if people can't tell you anything, that means you're not listening to what they're seeing because they're on the outside looking in. That could be a threat. Other threats could be if you have a name that's similar to someone else's name, and let's say they've registered that name as far as trademarking or copyright or what have you, and you're using it, that's a threat because at any moment they can file official paperwork and have you in court because you didn't do your research before launching this business. You have other threats out there as far as maybe finances could be a threat. Maybe you bit off more than you could chew. That could be a threat. So threats are just like opportunities. There are so many out there, and you have to label those things and be real with yourself about the market you're entering into.
The beautiful thing I think that you're bringing out, there's two continuous things that just keep popping in my head as you're speaking. One of the things is being true to thyself, noticing and acknowledging and addressing some of the things that you may lack or some of the things you may be good at it, taking it on and taking ownership of it. And that's one of the first steps from what I'm gathering from what you're saying, because then you'll know where to start. It's almost like I go to the doctor and say, doctor, I'm hurting. And the doctor said, where are you hurting? But you don't want to tell them because you're embarrassed or you don't want to explain the difficulties that you have. How can someone help you? They may have all of the right answers, but they can't help you if you first don't acknowledge your issues, acknowledge some of the weaknesses that you have, and then people can assess. Now, which leads me to the second thing. It's clear that all of these different things from all of these different strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats, you need someone who's experienced to help mentor or to guide you.
Yes.
Because this is not shooting in the wind type situation. These are situations where you can truly be successful, because I've seen people be successful and it don't take a lot of brain power. But what it does take is knowing your weaknesses, addressing those weaknesses, and also seeking assistance from people who have more experience than you have. And then not only just seeking that, but following through. So follow through is so important.
Yes.
As we get ready to dive into, we're going to just kind of scratch the surface, and it's up to you all, it's up to the audience or whatever. If you have time, whether you do it on your channel or whatever, to kind of cover the other business structures. But if you're by yourself, just say I go cut the grass and I'm starting a lawn care business or a car wash business. I am known as a sole proprietor. Okay. So that business structure will be a sole proprietorship, right? But now once I get into trying to maybe renting equipment, or maybe I might want to own work with a property management team, or maybe I want to do contracting with government, city, county, or maybe I want to do business with a large franchise or something like that. I need to start to look at changing the structure of my business. Or maybe I'm sitting at home and I'm dropping YouTube videos and I'm noticing all of a sudden these YouTube videos, I'm generating some revenue. And then I'm also want to buy some camera equipment. I want to build this YouTube content creation. I might need to take a look at changing the structure from sole proprietorship to LLC. So now a lot of people may have heard of LLC. Isn't LLC a limited liability corporation? If somebody tell me that again, I'm going to scream, no, it's not. What is it? Tell me a little bit about LLC.
LLC stands for Limited Liability Company.
Big difference. Big difference.
Yes.
Big difference.
Yes, it is a huge difference.
Yes.
It gives you, pretty much personal protection. That's how I just keep it simple. It offers you as the CEO, as the business owner, personal protection. It keeps the business separate from you, the individual, pretty much. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
I'm like you. I'm like, it's not, that C is not corporation.
I got a corporation. They be coming to me telling me, and I'm like, I say, are you registered? I'm going through just the screening and everything like that. Oh yeah, I own a corporation. I go pull up the file. I'm like, you got an LLC. It's a big difference. So yeah, I mean, this is the thing where now you can kind of separate your personal assets and your personal things. And then now your business, think about this, your business is not you. Your business is its own being.
Right.
Now, that's where emotion separates business. And that's going to be key in growing and develop your business into understanding that if I have Eco Neighbor LLC, that's someone different from me, Robert, right?
Right.
My emotional and all of that has nothing to do with the benefit and the strength and the structure of that LLC. And we have to move on. We have to move as such, right? So I'm going to go in the chat real quick and try to address some of the things. Y'all see African Dreaming? What's up, African Dreaming?
1J.
MHW, how you doing? Tampa Creek Homestead. Sometimes having an accountability partner really helps to keep you focused. Oh my goodness. You know, this is something that a lot of us, do we really think about my dreams, my aspiration? I want to build something. And as we talk about land ownership, as we talk about homesteading, we talk about our goals and our business, you want something that's viable, that can sustain. You don't want nothing that can be easily knocked down or could be easily shut down. You also would love to pass it down from generation to generation, right? You want to secure it. Sometimes you might want to consider, even when you own land, and if you're generating some revenue, maybe selling produce, or maybe doing tours, or maybe doing Airbnbs and different stuff like that. Think about forming your LLC, right? These are things that you can have. And then later on, you might want to cultivate that and grow that and do maybe a C Corp, because they all have different tax benefits. And all of this stuff is centered around taxes, right? So the LLC, it's a pass-through taxation. When you think about pass-through taxation, what's the meaning of pass-through to you?
Well, when you think about pass-through, that means it's its own entity. So it's not associated with you. It's going to pass through. It means you're going to file it. You can file it with your taxes 9 times out of 10. You're filing it with your personal taxes, but it's not going to hit you. It's going to pass directly through you in that nature. So like you said, each structure is different. And a lot of people, I met someone just the other week was saying that they have an INC in a corporation. And I started asking them, I said, okay, you're about the first person I've met face to face that has one. I said, who are your stockholders? And all that was like, oh yeah, I don't have all that. And I was like,
they don't have no public meetings or nothing.
Yeah, I was like, I'm confused. I thought that was a part of it. So it made me have to go back and research. I was like, did I misunderstand something?
So this is the thing, fam. I hope y'all understand. This is more than just a badge. This is more than just like a patch on your jacket.
Right.
What we're trying to do ultimately is we're trying to do two different things. When you think about taxation, the less you make on the individual, the less your what they call taxable income is. The less your taxable income, the more money you get to keep in your pocket. You want your business winning and killing it, but then you want less taxation on you. So if you're out traveling, doing some footage on your videos, you put gas in the tank, you put mileage in your car, you paying car payments on the car. You want to be able to secure some of these things. If you're in your home and some of y'all say, oh, I'm not into that, I'm retired, I'm this and that. Be careful, because guess what? You still can you can keep some of your income inside of your own home. If you're sitting in a quadrant of your home and you're videoing and you dropping content, you might want to consider that, because you can claim a certain portion of your home, right? So these are things that you want to take a look at, reducing your taxable income. and shifting that responsibility to your business. Now, understand also long term, over 2 years or 3 years of having great, number one, you got to have great credit, but your business will be building a good catalog of transactions and revenue. And if you're able to get a loan for 50,000, your business may be able to get a loan for 150 to 200,000. It can vary, right?
Right.
So all of these things you want to put in place, and you want to think about some of these things. Now let's think about, as we think about LLC, flexibility and management. So let's think about, when you own a business, you have flexibility, right? Let's talk about some of the rewards of having your own business.
Oh yeah, the tax flexibility is outstanding. You're able to go in there and label all kind of stuff under that LLC, but you have to be careful. I was recently talking to one of my tax people, and they were telling me, "Oh, you should." You should do this. You should label this under the business. If you go out to lunch, you should label that as a business. Like, they were giving me all of these things, and it made me nervous because I'm like, look, I don't want Uncle Sam over here. I don't want Uncle Sam over here. It sounds great. All the things you can, pretty much itemize. But I was really nervous. And my husband was like, nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And I was
my thing is added to that. Your intent shouldn't be to get away from taxes, right?
Right.
Your intent should be, if this is business related and I'm spending my personal funds, I want to make sure I separate those two, because that's a different taxation versus on me. It's like I'm just spending all my money. I could spend $10,000 or $12,000 in a year of my income, and I spent that on my business. We're talking about legitimate spend. We're not talking about trying to scapegoat around taxes. And if that's your frame of mind, you're on the wrong channel, you're on the wrong platform. I apologize for wasting your time.
Right.
But we're talking about you truly having a well-organized business, something that you can pass down to your kids and your grandkids or your nephew, your nieces, or even a nonprofit organization, right? We're talking about something that's viable, that has value to it, and then that can be a great attribute to your business portfolio, right?
Yes.
So now think about this. Here you are, you have a business, and then you decide to say, I want to do an LLC. And what I want to do is I want to capture certain things, because as you spoke before, certain corporations, you can claim certain tax benefits, but you can't claim them on other things, right? LLC is one of the lowest forms of business, right? But now imagine you're getting ready to invest in a piece of property, right? And y'all want to rent out the property. One thing you might want to consider is the LLC or a partnership. You can form partnerships through LLC. So imagine me and the Educated Natural, we getting ready to invest into a piece of property. We will form a partnership through our LLC. Right. And our LLC now becomes its own entity. So all the revenue that comes for the rental. Now, one thing about a business, you want to be on payroll, right? Whether it's a percentage, if you get money that's not frequent, not continuous, you might want to put it like a sales or commission piece, right? Or if you are getting money on a regular basis, you might want to give yourself a salary, right? All of these structures and putting things organized, it makes your business very, very attractive. And even when you're doing large contracts, sometimes they want to see your portfolio. They want to see your taxes. They want to see your accounting. They want to see all of that, because they want to know you're strong and you're solid. There's nothing more frustrating than I've seen people, this one individual, his daughter handled his admin, and he did landscaping. He had right-of-ways going throughout for miles. Big contract, large contract. He was able to secure equipment, everything. But the problem was it was too much commingling.
Oh man.
And they weren't putting salaries, they weren't putting nothing down. And over the years, it got to be what Will and Smith call entanglement. You know what I'm saying? And with that said, it got messy. And then they start losing contracts. So talk to me a little bit about some people who might have, like, I'm intimidated by forming an LLC. What are some things that you can kind of talk to some of the audience about taking a look at reducing some of the fears from trying to obtain an LLC?
Well, when it comes to actually filing the paperwork for an LLC, it's actually very easy. But I would say before you file that LLC, make sure you are doing business and not business. Okay. There's a whole lot of business going on. These people, standing on business and not business. There's a big difference. Now, when you're actually running a well-organized, well-oiled machine as an LLC, your business is legit. You have crossed every T and dotted every I that you know to do. I would tell you to make sure that you are well versed in the legalities of an LLC. What that means is stop listening to these people out here telling you what to do, how to do. Research yourself and get an understanding. It doesn't have to be a huge college level degree understanding, but the basics you should know if you're going to be running this LLC. You have to look out for the pitfalls. You can't go by what I do in my state, what Eco does in his state, and what somebody else. You have to know what your state requires, because a lot of people think, oh, well, once I file the LLC, I'm good, I'm done. No, you're not. That's one of many steps. You also have to be responsible for your annual fees to keep that LLC in good standing with your state. And certain business entities, but business types, meaning what you're doing in your business may require you to get a license.
Yeah.
Do you know that or not? Have you researched that or not? For some people, like for instance, people that do custom apparel, you may qualify in your state. Not every state's the same. Every state's different. But in your state, you may qualify to get a reseller certificate or license or permit, however they name it in your state. This means you get to sell stuff maybe at a wholesale rate. You may be able to not charge, get tax, you may be tax free. And then when you get ready to file your tax, you have to pay that tax. Then you have to know those rules. So you can't just go and just file just the LLC paperwork for your articles of organization with your clerk of court and think you're done. Eco, you brought up a very good point about commingling funds. How many people that go and file these LLCs go and also get a separate business bank account and stop using their own personal checking account for this business? That's commingling funds. You haven't separated you from the business. That's the big thing that gets a lot of people in trouble. I've noticed also, because I move every 3 years from a different state, so I have to learn different state rules. And,
Wow.
because, we're still attached to Uncle Sam, so we have to move. And I have to close the business, open the business. How much is this fee going to be to open a business in this state? And, to pay when you're first starting out, that initial fee can hit some people in the throat. You could think it's free. It's not free to file an LLC. In some states, I think you're probably in Florida, it's like 125 or something like
but
that.
it really, and that's the thing. I think you hit the nail on the head, because certain professions, it's a little bit more versus others. Like my insurance is different from my landscape. My real estate is different from all of it. And that's the thing. As you register, not only with the LLC, you pick those subcategories. Some of your actual additional fees may be more or less depending on your business profession.
Even if you're not in the state where you want to have your business registered, that's a foreign LLC. So that's the additional fee. That's a different fee. So it's
and a lot of people, they go in and they love the state of Maryland and a couple other states because they feel like it's Delaware, all of that, because the tax benefits. But then they try to do business in their own state or something like that, and then they're not looked at as a business in the state, even though they physically there, they doing business there. So it's a lot of things to take into account. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I really like that you brought out is that that business part. When we try to go into business, or when we try to take that first step, there are free resources out there that people do not take advantage of. There's an organization, what you call the Small Business Administration. The Small Business Administration is a federal administration. These are things that they're not really free. They are. The service they give to you is free, but you pay for them because you pay your taxes.
Right.
but they are free. You can walk in there and you can go to your small business development center. They have them. If you go and you go online, you can key in your zip code, your state, your city. They're throughout the whole nation. They have the small business uh, development center that's local. You can go in there and you can tell them, this is one of the things that I would like to do. How do I get started? They can do market research, market analysis research. They can provide you information on how many are actually there doing the same thing in your certain areas, certain facets. They can also help you with your business structure. And guess what? That's free. That's free to the public. You are a taxpayer, it's free. So you also have resources in Florida. You have the Florida Department of Business Regulation. You have Department of State. Department of State is where you would register your corporation, your LLC, your S corp, whatever, your partnership. That's where you would go and you would register, right? So you have different entities. You have to take your time and look at solid. Like I said, I love the fact that you talk about this TikTok and all this 1 minute, 2 second, all of a sudden you got 50 years worth of experience.
Right.
You have free resources that are out there that are there to serve you. And then you also have grants and different things like that. The Small Business Administration have different grants. You have if you're in rural area, you have the United States Agriculture, USDA. They have loans for rural businesses.
I hope y'all got your pen and paper because this is a lot of information.
But
this is a good information here.
But these are the reasons why you want to build some of this stuff and have it organized, because when you approach these entities, guess what they're going to ask you? They want to look at your business structure. They want to look at your accounting information. They want to look at, are you registered? Is this something? And one thing that is so important, if you're commingling your money, you commingling everything, if you do get sued, they're going to look at it as a sole proprietorship, even though you registered as an LLC. A good attorney will be like, hey, no, it's clear, it's evident. They don't have no employees. They don't have no subcontractors. They are running a whole business. This is, even though it's registered LLC, this is sole proprietorship. Let's go after their assets. So we got to be wise. We got to be smart and build our business structure exactly like what you was talking about. So Gigi says, yes, it's $125 to start an LLC in Florida. And I think where Resilient Dad said in Cali, LLC is the easy part. Without making one red cent, you still have to pay $800 in taxes. Be mindful of your state requirements. I am so, I think who was that? She said, I'm scared. My Renaissance grandmama, I'm scared to move to California myself.
No.
Oh my goodness, California is wicked, man.
I ain't got a lot of people riding dirty in California with their businesses. Ooh, that's a grip.
Some things I understand why. So 10, Tampa Creek's Homestead said, 10, would you recommend that one get an LLC for the homestead that they are trying to create if it was going to be their business?
Go ahead, Eagle. I thought you were about to answer it. Okay.
I was going to say, really, I'm going to tell you this. It really depends on your intentions of the homestead. As I said before, some things are not as beneficial for LLC. It may be more beneficial for a C Corp. And we're talking about LLCs right now, but I do want to keep it very straightforward, because LLCs, they are your basic form of businesses. There's something to get you started, but some of your tax benefits may be better with an S Corp, depending on what you're doing with it. Because once you get into lot rentals, once you get into maybe Airbnbs, or maybe you're thinking about selling agriculture, or you may be thinking about selling homemade good products, some things may be more beneficial just doing sole proprietorship. Instead of even going after LLC, because it really depends on what you're seeking and what you want to do with. So I didn't want to jump in there, 10. I'm gonna yield and let you.
No, you said exactly what I was gonna say. It just depends on what you're trying to do with that homestead. I know real estate and things, that's definitely your lane. So I kind of earn a caution to you, for as that goes, as far as homesteading goes, because I do look for the day when we can do that, when we are still serving this country.
But hey,
But
first of all, I apologize. I appreciate you serving the country. Thank you
oh,
so much. I
absolutely.
appreciate you and your.
My husband is now, the chief in that. So
Well, this is the thing. If your husband is doing it, you're
I'm
doing it
still
as well.
serving it. Yes,
So
absolutely.
salute to you and your husband and your
Thank
family
you.
and the
Thank
sacrifice that you all make. Because I grew up son of an Air Force, and my mama was reserved for a little while, and so I understand that situation.
Oh, yes.
And then our family members, Gigi got full of military on her side, and it is a sacrifice. And thank you so much for your sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Some of the things that when you're homesteading, it's so many opportunities, y'all. If you wanted to build a city, you could build a city if you're homestead. You know what I'm saying? It gets crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so if you wanted to do it's so unlimited. That's the beautiful thing I like about it. And I'm learning more and more every day about
Oh,
this
yeah.
whole situation. And we're deciding really what we want to do, because we do want to maintain the privacy, but then at the same time, we understand that we're out here in the wilderness and we do have to generate revenue, and
Right.
revenue is necessary because homesteading, no project is small. Remodeling your bedroom, kitchen, or whatever is not even a scratch to homesteading. Some people think homesteading is cheap.
Mm-mm.
If you have it already there, maybe, but I still caution, depends on how big, what scalability is. So all the agriculture equipment is not cheap. All of the infrastructure is not cheap. And once you get into some of that, how do you divide some of that through your personal use, through your business? Sometimes when you're homesteading, if you got rental property or something like that, you may want to dig a different well between your personal well, because you got cost involved in that. You want to make sure that you separate every single thing that you possibly can. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because all of these different things, they matter. They really matter.
Absolutely. Oh, thank
So
you all so much.
I'm going in the chat, and a lot of people showing you love to educate.
Thank y'all. Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you for
So
your service, JJ. I'm JJ. One J. See, look, I kept saying I was gonna change my name because of what happened the other night. One J.
Growing with Hudson says $300 in Tennessee, LLC.
Wow. Tell
Yeah,
y'all, these states will get you, boy.
yeah, and you know what? You don't earn a single dime, a single
Mm.
penny. All you're doing is paying a fee to say, "Hey, look, I'm here. I'm over here.
Right.
I'm registered." So you still got to do the work. You know what I'm saying? You still have to do the work. That's why it's so important that if you're not really active, you're not really doing it, you may want to stick with a sole proprietorship until you build that business acumen where you can truly saying, "Hey, we need to capture some of these costs. We need to capture some of this," and then you might want to start that LLC. So we're gonna keep pushing along, okay?
All right.
And anything you want to add, please add as we go through this process, okay?
All right.
Now, you covered a lot of this stuff, like the state regulations vary. We know from state to state. Please check your own state, not just on only your own state, but also there's regulations in the city and county too as well. Some things the state may allow you to do,
All
but your
right.
county may not allow you to have certain types of businesses,
Right.
and then the county's interest is to protect the business environment, the business, the health of the business environment, because you got entities called economic development. They're there to make sure it's not an overrun among uh, abundance of certain types of businesses. They are trying to attract certain businesses. Sometimes they have funding for certain types of businesses. And like you say, learn what the people want and learn how you can provide some of those services. Um, so let's talk about, we're going to dive as we go through this popular thing called LLC. Let's talk about what's some of the fun things in owning your own business, and what are some of the things what are some of the opportunities you can have with owning your own business?
Oh man, owning your own business is so much fun. It has been so much fun. Just the learning aspect of it to me has been just incredible. The number of people you meet in different entities, the stories you get to share, from losses to gains. it's just incredible to me. You get to set your own schedule. I don't have to get up at the crack of dawn if I don't want to. It's just, and when you do it from home, you don't have to even get dressed to go do it. There's just so much freedom that having your own business gives you. And I love the fact that for me personally, that I was able to learn new skills that I didn't know that an LLC would give me. From even my name, coming up with my name, to completely federally trademarking my name. Wow. I can't tell you, Eco, how many times people see the R by my name and they be like, is that real? Or you just put that out there. I'm like, see, this is how social media gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
Because there are people that's putting the fake stuff out there. And I have to go and defend. Yes, would you like to see my certificate? Literally, yes, it's real. And that's when you know somebody's serious about what they do. When you take those, yes, they are financial. You do incur a financial charge to get that R. But that's when you separate that fake CEO from that real CEO, that person that's a hobbyist from a person that's really doing business, because you're taking those necessary steps to protect whatever it is you're building. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. They're just willing to just start a channel, let's say, since we're on YouTube, and let it be that. And you're spending all this money and time building something you're not protecting. And so I really love the fact that the things that I've been able to learn going through this process of building and moving from state to state and learning the new rules. Like, I'm a person that loves to learn. So being able to learn something every day is just a blessing to me. So if I was working, I have worked for our lovely government, not just serving, but I've worked in those offices, working with soldiers and helping families. And I've worked in your regular local. If I would tell you some of the jobs I've had, you would probably laugh your head off, because one of them in particular was just hilarious. I cannot believe I did that. But
the things that money make you do, the things that money make you do.
I'm like, why was I there? Like, it's just some crazy stuff. But
it provided you experience, though.
Yes, experience.
I don't think there's not one job, which I'm like you. I've had everything that you can think of, far as working at different professions and different businesses. But I learned something from every single experience. Experience.
Every one of them. Every one of it. And that's why when I see people, I don't judge them. Like, you work where? Okay, hey, I understand. Hey, I get it. I understand. And some people will look at me now and say, oh, you have this life, or your husband's doing this, or y'all are doing that. And oh, you just don't understand. I'm like, baby, I came from the projects. Okay.
Now, let me ask you a question. Now, let's dive into that. So we have people, some people are in the projects right now that may be watching this. And my question is, how do you break that cycle? Because, when you are receiving funds from the government and you have limited access to different things, and if you try to grow, you're penalized for that. And if you stay there, you're penalized for that. Right. What are some ways that a business or having a business can transition that?
Well, based on my experience, when I was in the projects, that's when I grew up. That's where I grew up at. That's where my mom raised my brothers and I at. That's where we started from birth. And we were there. I was, in the projects till I was 13. And then my grandfather passed away. And then I moved in with my grandmother. And that was the first time literally in a house and not an apartment. So it was a total different thing. So as I grew up going through that, it allowed me to learn the sacrifices that we as people make. And sometimes we'll forget as we get older and as we grow and life begins to start lifing, those humbling beginnings. And if you're in the projects now, that's just where you start. I looked at it as a race. And I know ARD can testify to this. Where you start may not be where you end. And we have to understand that you may start in the projects like I did. You may grow up, you may have to raise your kids there, but it's only a season. You don't have to stay there. You have to be willing to say, okay, I'm here. Let me educate myself. I don't care what school you go to, some of the best education I've ever received was self-education.
Mm.
Life has been the best experience for me. And those life lessons, and you have the ability to say, okay, I started here, but I don't plan on finishing here. And that was always my thing, even as a kid. We start here. I couldn't control that. That was my mom. My mom and my stepfather, they did what they could do. But now that I'm an adult, I can make my own decision now. I can grab hold of that and make my own way now, according to what God has shown me and taught me, allowed me to learn. So you don't have to stay there. Now, if you decide to stay there, then you decide to stay there, but you don't have to stay there. And so we all have the ability to make that change and that choice and those decisions, and then grow. And the more you know, the more you grow. And whatever you feed will live, or if you don't feed it, it'll die. So if you're feeding your mind will open up more doors than you can ever imagine by just educating yourself. So we all have the power to make those decisions, whether we're going to stay in a certain, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business or whatever it is. We all have the power to make that decision. Where am I going to go to next? What is life showing me? Because life will show you, if you stay here, this is going to happen. But if you move over here, yeah, it may be some uncertainty. You may be a little nervous. You may be a little scared. But is that what your heart, is that where the direction of life is pointing you towards? We can't be afraid. Because like I said, that could be a threat. We have to be able to get out of our own way and make those pivots and transitions as life is showing us that's the direction we need to go. And so, yeah, it all boils down to our decisions. We have to decide what we're going to do, what our next steps are going to be.
Yeah, that right there, boy. You look, I'm in awe. I mean, not only are you intelligent, but you put practical life applications, and you have the experience, and you're transparent. And I appreciate your transparency.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're right. I don't think there's ever been a day or a season that I have not learned. And I'm always learning new things. And one of the most frustrating things to me is if I have to do something and I don't have a knowledge about it, and I'll do it and try to depend on my resource, but you best believe I'm going to go back and circle back around and learn about it.
Yes.
And some of the most frustrating things in my life has been where I didn't have a knowledge about it, and then I later on learned that I got.
Yes. Ooh, the stories I could tell with that.
Now, you talking about something that's gonna irk me, man. Man, when I bought my first, we bought like a half an acre, and we cleared the lot, and we got everything done, and Gigi gonna already chat in. Oh, I already know where she going. But I'll never forget, we went to this mobile home dealership, and we were gonna buy just a small little mobile home, whatever. And that was the thing. I was from the country. All I wanted was a mobile home. I'm truly transparent. I didn't want no big old house or none of that. I would see them. I would see large plantation home, beautiful home. But I just wanted this beautiful, nice double wide with a sunken tub. That was something about the sunken tub and a walk-in pantry. If I had the walk-in pantry and the sunken tub, and I was gonna build a big old deck, and I did every bit of it. And we went and we ended up getting the biggest house, the biggest trailer on the lot. And when we went back, Gigi got this thing about reading the fine print and all this stuff. And she went and said, they got me for $10,000. They put $10,000 hit on something that we shouldn't have paid for. And that was lesson one with real estate. That's why I say I could tell you a lot of stuff not to do, because we done tried it, we've done it. We got a lot of successes, but those successes came by way of a lot of things that we didn't know about, and things that we weren't educated about. And that's why we try to share as much knowledge and information as we possibly can, because I don't want no people to be taking advantage of other people. And we shouldn't have that. Now, I want to go in the chat, because a lot of people been chiming in. And Resilient Dad, he heard you. 100. Let's see. I saw something in here. Odom Homestead said, yes, you have to want more.
Yes.
That thing about wanting more, that should be burning within us. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That should be our go-to. every time we feel like we hit a roadblock, that burn, we should always try to go back to wanting more, wanting to do more, and then be clear. And I like what you said in the beginning of this whole discussion about don't be all over the place. Know exactly what you want and know this is what you want. So that way you won't be like, hey, look over here, look over there. That's an opportunity. That's an opportunity. And then you won't complete your mission. You won't complete where you're going.
Yes,
And then
avoid that shiny ball syndrome. Oh my goodness.
I done that for years.
I have too. I did that at the very beginning. Oh, that sounds so cool. I'm gonna do this. Nope, that sounds so cool. It's like squirrel.
Man,
I was like,
I have a business and everything. I'll be going, and then it be going and getting momentum. And then all of a sudden a friend will bring me something, or I see something and be like, I got the revenue from this business and I see this opportunity. Man, that look good. Too many times. G Hud said it takes a village.
Whew.
G Hud said, I always wanted better.
Always.
MHW says, I am Project Baby as well. Had many jobs and learned that the ghetto was only a beginning and understood that better was the only other option.
Absolutely.
It's the only option, y'all. Seasonal Tree said, my quote for that is, my present situation is not my permanent.
Wow.
That's deep. Yeah, that's deep right there.
I like that.
He was gone by a small one. I wasn't. Yeah, it's always like that. It doesn't matter whether it's little GG or big GG. I go with this intention, even with the RV. I had this intention. I was going to get this nice, quaint thing. Man, little GG said, nope, not finna happen. Resilient Dad said, you don't have to stay there. Your situation is a part of your resilient story. For those that want to stay there, you don't love them any less, but that's not your mission. So you gonna keep it going. You know, Resilient Dad, that right there is so profound. And another thing about that is what he said. I don't know if y'all caught that, but in that same scenario, that means you're gonna lose some people.
Absolutely.
As you grow, some people gonna drop off.
Oh yes.
You're gonna, and some of them may be family members, some of them may be your ride or dies for that period of time. And understand that's a period of time because you're growing, right?
That's it.
But understand this, as you travel towards your way, you're gonna meet new people, you're gonna connect with new people, you're gonna have some like-minded people, you're gonna have some people who've gone places that you ain't even never dreamt of and never seen, and they're gonna give you access to those points. But you gotta be brave enough to be able to let go and let God. You got to be brave enough to do it. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but power and of love and of sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7.
Oh yes.
The experience was sassy. She's gonna always bring it on around full circle. That's what made me become a realtor. The first time. I'm still mad 30 years later. Yeah, she still think about them 10,000. Hey,
listen, I also, Gigi and Eco, I also lost 10K. So what? I feel your pain.
What happened? What happened? Tell her what happened. Go ahead and tell us what happened.
I'm gonna tell that story. My husband brought it up the other day. I thought it was over, but we ain't over. It's like you said, following the wrong people, listening to the wrong people.
You know, this is the thing. A lot of people, a lot of time when we say, oh, I was only 23 when I bought my first property. She was only 20 years old when she bought her first property. We just so grown and we so sassy. We just doing our own thing. With this social media now, these teenagers buying property now. But back then, you didn't have no social media. You had no internet. You didn't have no kind of resources. And you didn't have people in your network that knew about certain things. So here it is. We just going. And they just saw opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. These little young cats don't know nothing about nothing. No. And we got the opportunity to kind of throw in this fudge, kind of like buying your first car. And you go into the lot by yourself with no wisdom with you, no experience. And all the car lot dealers doing just like this.
Oh, yes. Been there, done that too.
Dealer prep fees, $5,000, $6,000, $1,000, all kinds of fees after fees. You know, you gotta be mindful of all that stuff. Duval, City Girl Gardner says, what do you recommend for someone wanting to start a hot dog cart? Huh.
Wow.
Cool.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
I'm going to
Well, of
start off
course.
by
Yeah,
saying,
go ahead.
where?
Exactly. Location, man.
Location, location, location. It's true. People gonna eat food. People gonna always eat food. But your success when it comes to things like serving people or food industry, understand they say McDonald's is not in the hamburger and fries, but they're into real estate. Location, location, location. All these large companies or these successful companies, they strategic. Have you ever noticed, dog, this neighborhood going up, and then all of a sudden you see a Dollar General or McDonald's or you see a Lowe's, that you're like, oh, this place is coming up
Mhm.
because they understand location is the key. So I'm sorry, go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
that was great. I
You
was
my
gonna say the
you
same
my
thing.
expert. You my expert.
Location is key because you can place that in the wrong location and get crickets. You can place it in a booming location and find out you have some stiff competition.
Mm.
You may have the people there, but can you outdo your competitors in that same area? So you have to look at location. You also have to look at the financial requirements to have that cart. I know with some places you got to have permits and all this other stuff to even
Yeah,
put your cart on that corner or wherever you're going to
yeah.
be. And I have a friend a couple of years ago. She, with her and her husband, they moved to Hawaii, and she started her own pretty much what you call them, vans, the vendor vans, and she was selling different food items out of
Like the
that, and just
food truck, like the
yeah, the
food
food
truck.
trucks.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
has her own food truck. And just to watch her go through that whole process from the getting the vehicle and having the vehicle gutted to having all these particular things she had to put in just because of regulations. It had to have a certain cooling, or freezers had to be a certain, it was all this stuff she had to do.
Mm.
And the financial thing that was associated with that was just, for me, it was awesome to see, but I kept saying, that's a lot of money. That's a serious investment. So you have to determine, are you willing to make that investment from not only just the cart itself, but the products? Do you know the
Mm.
regulations and the stipulations to even be able to sell food? You got to,
Yeah.
since you're selling food, you have to look at insurance. How much insurance do you have to have in case somebody gets sick? They want to sue you because they had a bad hot dog.
Mm. Mm.
Court fees, you would have to have an attorney. It's a whole lot of things that you have to look at, especially when you're dealing with food. What is the FDA requirements for that?
Mm.
Everything. You have a whole different plethora of things that you have to look at versus someone that's starting a home-based business, let's say selling t-shirts. Your level of detail, and you got to be very meticulous as to what you're going to have to know to start that cart. Is maybe getting the cart may be easy, but it's all the other stuff associated with that you're going to have to learn and know.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and then that's why you need to utilize some resources like your local Duval. You in Jacksonville. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of resources over in Jacksonville. You definitely have the economic development council over there. You also have this. They got a SBDC, which is Small Business Development Center. You can walk in there and talk to them about that. And with the state of Florida, you need to talk to the Department of Agriculture. The Department of Agriculture will be your resource as far as looking out, defining some of your food responsibilities, some of the things you need to do. Department of Business Professional Regulation is another department that will be instrumental into helping and assisting you. Some of those things that were mentioned, they are, I just want to add just a few more things.
Mm-hmm.
You may have in Duval County, you may have regulations on the size. Can you cook fries? Some places won't allow you to have grease on a mobile capacity, and if you do, you have to have certain infrastructures there. So you may want to take a look at tater chips and versus fries or different things like that as far as your menu. Another thing you want to also look at is where you're going to place this. Is this like a temporary place? Odom said something that I like. Industrial parks, lunch breaks, construction sites. Those are another things that you want to look at. And if you're in the rural area, if you see we're getting ready to go into planting season, you see migrant workers, you see different things like that. That may be something that you might want to consider if you're in a rural environment. But there's so many different things, and the smaller the county, sometimes the looser the regulations are in
True.
some cases. But you definitely want to do your homework before you invest in equipment, before you invest in everything, to make sure that this is something you want to get into. Because one thing that you touched on, in order to begin doing business, it's going to be costly. That's
Yes,
why they
yes,
say the
yes.
first 5 years, most successful business either come at a even or a loss within the
Yes.
first 5 years. That's why there's loose taxation on losses during the first 5 years. Most businesses won't even be successful after the first year. And then the percentage goes down, down, down. But there are a lot of successful business. And one thing I'll tell you, when you talk about feeding people, you are talking about a typically a successful business. If it's good, if it's clean, if it's reliable, and you're consistent with doing what you're doing. That's why I say location, location. People got to know where they're going, know where to find you. They got to have accessibility, and then you build your routines, and then next thing you know, they start telling, and word of mouth is
Right.
the key. So being consistent is one of the biggest things.
Oh yeah, I learned that when I went to my first pop-up shop a few months ago. They
Uh-huh.
didn't care about t-shirts. They didn't care about nothing. They went straight to the food people. They just bypassed me like I should have brought some cookies or something because the lady that had the cakes and the cookies and the lady
Come
that
on now.
had the no kidding, they bypassed
Look,
all of
look,
us and went straight to the cake people. I said, oh, this
look.
is a
I
shame. I
used
should
I
have stayed
used to
home.
do events with Gigi, right? Gigi, so Gigi Naturals, it started out as soap making, bath bombs, natural creams, lotions, and all these kind of hair natural herbs and all that kind of stuff. And we would go to the events, and we'll be next to a food truck. That's why I say if you can get next to one, get next to one. If you can get over the smell or the temptation, but just get next to one. So hopefully the line will kind of spill over, and then while they're waiting in line, they'll see, hey,
Right.
what y'all got going over there? You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the strategies, when you setting up and you get ready to set up, hey, what the nearest, what kind of food trucks y'all got out there, and how can I get near one of them? You know what I'm saying? Because you're absolutely right.
They
Absolutely
bypassed
right.
all of us. I'm like, you hungry people? Y'all didn't eat before y'all came in. Oh
Read
man.
them across the chat. Rent is high in those particular locations. Rent is high. I don't know which particular location. Probably something we spoke of in the past. Just remember, uh, be creative about what you're doing,
Oh yes.
and it's a sacrifice for doing whatever you need to do. Well, a class example, we just did type. Me and Gigi did the type. We had certain events that was way too expensive. We paid to get into some of these events. We wouldn't have made no profit. We would just pay for the event if we were lucky.
Oh yes.
So sometimes we would go and spend the night, the weekend, at another more smaller or less costly event, and we'll do that travel, and then we'll stock up, and we'll strategize with going to those events that were more affordable,
Right.
and it provided more additional opportunities. So it's ways you can do it. And even with the food truck or any situation like that, if you find a little area, go ahead and maybe rent a storage shed to keep your equipment, and then you can travel maybe certain days out the week. With what I'm saying, don't let nothing stop you from getting started. What I'm saying,
Right.
think outside the
Absolutely.
box, be creative, and those $20 and $30. Well, now rent. It used to be $20 and $30 to rent a little storage unit, but now these storage units, man, they
Oh,
they they doing 100,
oh
two
yeah.
hundred
That's
dollars a
crazy.
month now. But they're just creative ways. I just want to just encourage you. Don't let these things talk you out of those things, but be aware of these things that you
Right.
may encounter. That way you won't be caught flat-footed, blindsided. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. In business, you have to be on your toes. It's like playing basketball. If you ever watched players on a basketball court, you realize the ones that go flat footed are the ones that get tripped up and get crossed over. But if you're on your toes and you're able to move left, right, forward, back, oh, you good to go. You'll play defense all day long. But in business, you have to be the same way. You have to be educated and abreast of what's going on in the markets, what's selling, what's not, what's the trends. You have to be literally all the time in a learning, I say a student mode, because you're learning everything. Every day is going to bring you something different. What worked yesterday is not going to work today. Like they say, what yesterday's price is not today's price. You
It's
have
never.
to be willing to shift.
I mean, when you look at inflation overall, period, how in the world can you keep up with just going clocking in and that's it? You know, if you're in today's time, unless you're making a extreme amount of money, you're going to have to be creative with what you're doing. And some people, they get raises by reducing their month-to-month calls. Some people get raises by taking on other projects and taking other jobs. But you're going to have to be creative and you're going to have to be intentional about what you're doing and look for strategies on how you can either reduce the amount that's going out or
Right.
increase the amount that's coming in. One of the two.
And if somebody gives you advice and you take that advice and it doesn't work for you, doesn't mean it was bad advice. It just means it just didn't work for you. That means you're going to have to figure out what is going to work for you. We're all different. We all think different. We all
So
strategize different. You have to be willing to sit down with yourself
Mhm.
and be honest with yourself about what you're doing and what your expectations are, and set realistic expectations. And don't think because somebody else did this one thing and it got them this result that's going to automatically mean that's going to happen for you. We're all different. You're going to have to find out what pretty much get in where you fit in and do what works for you.
I
And
love
listen to
that.
discernment. Use discernment out here in these streets.
We talked about when we talked about discernment yesterday, or day before yesterday. Yes, discernment. Pay attention. Pay
Yes.
attention. And what I like about what you just said, you starting a business. Why would you want to have an agonizing business that you don't want to do? You're
Oof.
not looking forward to doing it. It's your business. It's your way to create something that you have never created before in your life. It's your opportunity to live a life the way you wanted to do, to make the choices you want to make. So think about that and be intentional. So that way you won't just hop and jump at every single thing and every single opportunity. Because if you want a stress-free business, try to create that environment. Yes, you're going to have some stressors. Don't get it twisted, because you're dealing with a business and people. You're going to have some stressors, but have it where you can manage it to the best of your ability by what you just said, knowing thyself, knowing what you want to do. If you say, man, I want to change, I want to make the money, I want to get the money, I want to get the money, and you're not thinking about stress, that's fine. But understand what you're facing, understand what you're asking for, and then you want to take it on to the part where you can manage it. Because what happens when business picks up, and what happens when you're really becoming successful at what you're doing? How are you managing that? Are you prepared to manage that? Do you have, I love what you said about patent I got a patent neighbor. I don't know what I'm doing.
Trademark it.
I mean trademark, not patent. Patent is the invention. I'm sorry. I need to trademark my name,
Yes.
right? So I'm just saying, think large, think big when you're coming in,
Yes.
right? And look to those big things that really, really go like to that next level. Because if you're thinking like a small, you're going to remain there. And so you want to think big and you want to prepare yourself and establish the fundamental pieces to like you're already there. You know what I'm saying? That way you don't have to come back and backtrack.
That's it.
Look at this. Y'all, I appreciate that. So we got, thank you, Gigi. Thank you. I love it when my wife tips me.
I'm not touching that.
Hey, I might have to shake it like it's hot.
Uh-oh. Watch out now. We don't see you for a couple of days. We understand.
Yeah, you know what's up. Season Tree, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. So we're gonna, if y'all have any questions, please put it in the chat. We're gonna slowly bring this thing to a close because I don't want to abuse and I don't want to take advantage of all this valuable information. And I do want her, whenever she wants to come back on, I do want her to be like, oh Lord, let me get myself prepared. I don't want to be like that. I want her to be like,
absolutely,
hey,
absolutely.
what's up? Let's get together. So do you want to leave us any type of closing remarks or any type of words of encouragement, and also share what's going on with your channel and some of the upcoming things that's getting ready to happen over there on your channel. And if y'all have any questions, please put it in the chat before we get ready to head on out of here.
Yeah, I would just want everyone to stop being afraid. Don't let fear control you. You're going to have natural fears. We're human. We get it. But you can't let that fear dictate what you do from day to day. If you know in your heart that your discernment is showing you that it's time for you to launch a business, and you have done everything you can to make sure everything is set up appropriately, you've educated yourself, launch that business. Because I can't tell you the number of times I sat on my hands, sat on my tail, did not move, dug my feet in, did not move, didn't listen to God, didn't listen to discernment, just let fear just control everything. And I missed opportunities. And I'm not talking about little opportunities. I missed some major opportunities. And I learned during that season that I can't allow things up here to get in the way of the things out there, because there are people out there waiting to hear what you have to say. They're waiting to experience that product or that service that you were created to bring to the table. You can't allow fear to jeopardize that. You can't allow fear to keep that next person or that next generation in your bloodline from experiencing greatness because you didn't lay that foundation. You are here for a reason. And I would encourage everyone to connect with your purpose. Find out. If you're not religious, that's on you, but I am. But I'm here to tell you that you weren't just created to just sit here and do nothing. We all have a purpose. We all were here to do something in this world. Even if you don't see the fruits of that labor now during your lifetime, you have another generation that's going to look back and say, man, if Eco Neighbor would have never done this, I wouldn't be able to do that. That's what our forefathers and mothers did for us. And so now we have the opportunity to do that for a future generation. So take every opportunity you can to live in the greatness of opportunity that we all get to experience every single day. Don't allow these things or what somebody else may have done in your bloodline that caused them a negative reaction to stop you. You have the opportunity to be great. Like, we have so many opportunities now that our foremothers and fathers could only dream about, probably couldn't even fathom. Take advantage of what you have now and be great in that. Build something. You don't want your only legacy on this earth to be you were born and you died. You don't want that to be your story. Create something that your future generations can be proud of. Do it now, because like we all know, tomorrow is not promised to any of us, and we don't know what tomorrow may bring the way things are going right now. So take the opportunity while you still have the chance. Do something great for not only just for you, but for someone else. They need you. We need you now. And we need the real people to stand up now and educate people about the realness of everything that happens in life, from business to spiritual walks to life in general. Just be real and let people know this is what's really going on. Do you think I really want to tell you as a business professional I lost money? No, but you know what? Did it happen? Absolutely. Could it happen to you? Yes. But it's real. So just take the time. If you're thinking about, even if it's something as simple as launching your own YouTube channel, launch that thing. This is the perfect time to launch a YouTube channel because it's a huge community waiting to welcome you with open arms. Now is the time to do it. So do that thing.
Thank you. So, I mean, every time you do your little rant, man, I'd be like, oh my goodness, I need to just shut up and let it.
The God in me.
You know what I like? I like every time you speak, it just needs to be silent. It just need to ring just a little bit. I used to play in the band in school, and I remember whenever we do a great performance, it would be quiet and silence, and you could just still hear it kind of ringing. That's kind of whenever you just speak that truth. And you just let the Holy Spirit guide you. It just rings,
To God be the glory.
Yeah. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Boss Hall
Thank
10, thank you. Thank you, Boss Hall 10. Thank you. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for coming in. I hadn't seen you in a while, but thank you. Welcome on in, man. Appreciate you. Chat, y'all been amazing.
Yes.
Y'all been incredible. Toya's Pantry, you've been in the bushes. I see you. Good morning, Sunday. Good to see you, Sunday. All of y'all in the bushes and all of y'all have been on the forefront. Appreciate y'all coming in. Y'all came in strong. You showed my sister love, and I appreciate it. And y'all see why she's amazing. Y'all see why I invited her on this channel, because I'm telling you, it's people that pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for the amount of information that she can share with you on
Yes,
her channel.
indeed.
And I'm telling you, that is an act of kindness. That's an act of sharing. But then at the same time, y'all, I want y'all to support her in her business too. We need to make sure we support one another. If you
Yes.
don't have the revenue, share her information out. It lead people, like it, comment. Let's get the word out, because we need this information, y'all. We need this information, and we need to strengthen. And I love the part, and every time you say anything about generational wealth, my spine is just tingling. You know what I'm saying? Because right now I've done what I'm going to do in my life. And I don't mean that like I'm giving up. I'm not going to grow and continue to grow. But what I'm talking about is my main focus is not on me, but my
Right.
generation that comes after me right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I done did everything except lick lightning. And now it's time. Now it's time to make sure that I lay down some foundation, and we should be thinking about that too, fam. Make sure that we leave something not only just for our consumption, but make sure we leave something for our next generation, y'all. I don't see any questions. Everybody's showing you love, and I see why. And applause, applause. And
Thank you.
Toya's Pantry, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you all, for all of y'all that contributed and continue to share. Thank you for sharing Educated Naturals channel.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
y'all gonna jump over there and show us some love.
I'm almost at
And
that 2K. We're getting close. We're
you
getting
what now?
close. I'm almost
Let's
at the
make it happen
2K.
then. Come
I'm
on,
almost there.
y'all.
About 33, I think, away.
Let's do it today. If you're not sub to her. Let's go ahead and get her over that 2,000 threshold. Come on, y'all don't play with it. Show her some love. I mean, she's giving out a lot of good information. Let's keep it together. Let's unify. Let's be about something. Let's be about something positive. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate that. Thank you for coming in. And you already know, once you come in here, you always invited. So
Absolutely.
understand this. We're only one click away, and you can always come in. And I appreciate you coming and starting out this week. And y'all, what a week, y'all. This
Yes.
week is your week. I'm trying to tell you, this week is your week. Anything you've been putting on the shelf, you've been procrastinating, take it off the shelf, put it in the forefront. You've been writing it down long enough. It's time to get up. It's time to make an action. If you're going to write anything down, write down a schedule of what you're going to do, and hold yourself accountable, and find somebody to help hold yourself accountable. Y'all, thank you so much for coming in. You have survived another episode of Eco Nation News that you may or may not be able to use. So thank you so much, Miss Educated Natural. Thank you so much, and much love. And don't forget, whatever you do, make sure that you keep on growing. Hang on now. Hang on.